Well, hello. It is Dr. Brandy B, and I am so excited to have you all with me this afternoon for Focus on It Friday. Come on in, grab some friends, and come on in. It is time to talk about something ADHD related, and we're going to do it right here on Dr. Brandy B. I am so just excited. I'm always excited. I am super excited. We've got one person watching, um, and we want many others to come on in and watch us today. So come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. It is such a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It is a great time to be alive, if I must say so myself. Let me go ahead and tag these videos. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. We are talking today about ADHD, summer camp, and field trips. And I know y'all are like, well, what do those have to do with each other? But that is why I am going to tell you today. Yes, I am. I'm going to tell you today. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I am so excited. So come on in and listen. Come on in and listen. We've got 3 people watching. When you get over here, tell me who you are. Say hello. We've got Michelle Combs Mitchell. Thank you so much. You are a regular now, girl, and we appreciate you so much over here at Dr. Brandy B. We've got who else watching? Miss Sadie is watching, and we've got, I saw some other names, Miss Karen, Miss Ashley Isham. Thank y'all for joining. Y'all are just becoming my regulars, and you know I appreciate you. Running a little bit late, but I had some patients I needed to see. I worked today, y'all. That's always a fun thing for me when I get to work on a Friday. It's fun because work is fun for me. I get to do what I love doing. We've got Miss Sadie, Miss Auntie Sadie. She says, hello, Dr. Brandy B. And I say right back to you, I love you. Hello. We appreciate you. All that jazz, all that jazz. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I am Dr. Brandy B, triple board certified pediatrician, adult psychiatrist, and child and adolescent psychiatrist. And through my Facebook live stream, through my books, and other programs, I help worried moms and grandmas and anybody who loves children who have ADHD get what they need so that they can be successful in the classroom and in life. Today, guys, we're going to talk about ADHD, summer camp, and field trips. ADHD, summer camp, and field trips. And you're probably thinking, well, what in the world do they have to do with each other? Well, you know that I'm going to tell you. I absolutely am going to tell you. So you all know what ADHD is if you've been following me. If you don't, you know I'm going to tell you again anyway, because that's what I love to do. So ADHD is a neurologic, neurobehavioral, neurobiologic disorder. Okay. We have to use some words like disorder, disability, that kind of thing. In where children and adults have problems with focus, they have problems with impulsivity, and they have problems with hyperactivity. They can have all of those, or they can have just one of those. Inattentive symptoms include losing things, being forgetful, always saying either I don't remember, I don't know, or I forgot. Any of those could be symptoms of forgetfulness. In addition, they're disorganized. Their room is a mess. Their book bag is a mess. Sometimes their clothes are a mess and their thoughts are a mess. They might be in the middle of a sentence and then just kind of stop talking and pick up and start talking about something else. They procrastinate. So procrastination is a huge part of ADHD. Oftentimes people will say buzzwords. These are going to be the guardians and the parents, like lazy. He's just lazy because he just lies around, can't get started, putting things off until the last minute. And then after, of course, if you procrastinate, then that means that you're going to rush and make a careless mistake. So just getting things done, you ask them to clean up, they're just shoving all the shoes and everything else under the bed, or you ask them to do their assignment and they've waited until the very last minute. So they're just going to jot something down. 2 + 2 is going to equal 5. And when they get that test back or that homework back, they're going to say, oh my goodness, I knew that wasn't 5. So that's your rushing after you procrastinate, not paying attention to small and minor details. So for example, the directions for the test may say only answer the odd number questions, and they only give you enough time to answer the odd numbered questions, but you're answering all of them. And so guess what? You get done with only half of the test. That would be not paying attention to details, not responding when their name is called. So these are the kids and the people that you're going to call their name several times. And then by the fourth time, they're going to say, what, why are you screaming? And then you're going to say, well, I've been calling you. If only you would have answered, I would have known, you would have known, that I was calling. I wouldn't have had to keep calling your name if you had been paying attention. All right. So those are some of your symptoms of inattention. Then you got your symptoms of hyperactivity and impulsivity. So your symptoms of hyperactivity and impulsivity could be being talkative. And remember, girls are going to be classically called chatty Cathys, right? They're going to just talk. Nobody's going to think anything of it because that little girl in the third grade, she may still be keeping her grades up. She may not be causing much of a problem, but she is talking all the time. And so when you go in for the parent-teacher meeting and that little young girl in early elementary school, the teacher's going to say, she's a delight to have in class. She's one of my star students. But you know what? She just talks a lot. So being talkative, being loud, all the time you got to say, oh my goodness, shh, not so loud. Everything they do is loud. They talk loudly. They walk loudly. They bang loudly when they're playing. They hit loudly. Everything about this person, this child, this adult is loud, okay? They cannot stay seated. So they take a bite, they do a flip. They take a bite, they run around the table. They take a bite, they go get water. That's at the dinner table. In class, what do? They sharpen their pencils. They get a piece of Kleenex. They ask to go to the bathroom. They're always out of their seat. What else are they doing to show hyperactivity and impulsivity? They're blurting and they're interrupting when other people are talking. So other people are talking to them, and then they are blurting and interrupting and not allowing that person to finish their sentences or finish their questions. So you got to imagine that if the teacher says, what is 2 plus 2? And they say 4, but she was going to say 20. Now the answer is not the same. All right. So they're blurting and they're interrupting. They are impatient and don't wait their turn. These are the kids that before you can get the minivan to a full stop, they are already from the back row of the minivan out the door. These may be the people, I'm not sure, who when the flight attendant says, keep your seatbelt on until we come to a complete stop, they are the first ones up to hurry up and wait. I'm going to have to start checking into that. I don't know, but maybe some of them have ADHD. What else do? They will start a new task before completing the first one, right? They act as if they are driven by a motor and they are always on the go. Go. First this, then that. They're over here, they're over there. They are constantly moving. All right. So if you have enough in the category for inattention, we call you ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, predominantly inattentive presentation. If you have enough to be in the hyperactive impulsive classification, that grouping, then we say that you are ADHD, predominantly hyperactive impulsive presentation. And guess what? If you have both, meet criteria for both, then we would say you are ADHD combined presentation. No more is there an ADD diagnosis. That diagnosis is long gone, okay? Very long gone. All right. So what do all of those things have to do with summer camp and field trips? And I'm so glad that you asked. So this morning, my kindergartner was preparing to go for a field trip, prepared to go on a field trip. And I thought, oh my good word. I said, if all the little kids who have ADHD are going on this field trip, my goodness, I hope they have enough chaperones. And so the question is probably, well, what do chaperones have to do with children with ADHD? And here is the deal. Just think about all of the criteria that I just went over in detail for ADHD, the inattentive symptoms, as well as the hyperactive and impulsive symptoms. Kids who don't pay attention to details. Now, for my son's group, for example, they all have on their same little t-shirt, the school t-shirt. But if you are paying attention, if you're looking around, if you're mesmerized by the tall giraffe, or if you're at Six Flags this summer and you see the bright lights, and guess what? Your group keeps walking. So despite the fact that you are wearing a matching shirt, you're not paying attention to the detail and you miss the group. The group keeps walking, you're standing there. You can imagine that that is a safety issue. What else can happen? Some kids are runners. And my husband told me that one of the kids that he knows, he says at his school, I play baseball, so I must run. Well, if you're running at a field trip or if you're running at camp, which by the way is an optional thing. So if you think they're calling you to come pick up your kid from school, just imagine sending them to an optional camp where they are going to call you and say, come pick them up, and just go ahead and extend their stay at home and keep them there. So if they're a runner, they may run off, which means that they may fall, which means that they may run so far away that if you've got elderly people as the teachers or the chaperones, now you've got a situation where they may not be able to catch them. So now security is involved. And of course, you're being called. All right. Let's say, for example, your kid is a really impulsive kid. Now it gets really tricky as to when children with ADHD take things that are not theirs, borrow things, if you will, that they did not pay for or ask permission for. Had one child say, I didn't steal it. I just wanted to use it for a little bit and I was going to give it back. So you can imagine that if you take a group of kids to the zoo, to Six Flags, or to anywhere else, and they just saw it and impulsively they wanted to borrow it, well, now you've got the security for the park asking for that child to leave. And who gets to sit outside with that child while everybody else is enjoying themselves? Interesting question. What else can happen with ADHD? I know I'm probably thinking of something, I'm overlooking something. A kid who's talkative, right? So some amusement parks that you may go to will have a movie scene where you go in and they have either 3 or 4D experiences. You watch a movie, you feel some raindrops. There is, you hear some sounds, of course, and you may even feel something crawling underneath you. Now, if your child is the child that is extremely talkative, then that means that the experience for everyone else, those in the group and those not in the group, is potentially hampered because your kid is talking a lot. All right, let's see who we've got. We've got Miss Betty Jeffers. Hello, hello. Miss Suella Marbury. Hello. And Miss Catrice Maddox. Welcome and thank you to you all who are watching. We just have several other people over there watching. We've got Jacqueline Jones, Harold. We've got Michelle Davis-Dash, Nikita Mason, and we've got Miss Brittany Hill. Thank you all for joining. We're talking about focusing on ADHD, summer camp, and field trips. All right. Now, let's say that they don't even go on a field trip. Let's just say that they're staying in the building. It's just a regular day at camp. They ask them to line up against the wall. Guess what? Your kid, who is impatient and cannot wait his or her turn, is the first one in line. But they did not pay attention to detail. So the first thing they told them was, after you clean up your station, then you go get in line. Well, they skipped the cleanup part. Now they're in line, dancing around and moving, wondering why no one is behind them. It's because everyone else is following directions. Now your child gets isolated. I also don't want to overlook the part about ADHD that focuses on the social piece, right? So if your child is always the one who's talking, now the class doesn't get to do anything because this teacher's old school and this teacher says, I'm not going to just discipline one child. I'm going to discipline the whole school, the whole class. If this one child or if any one child is talkative, here comes your child talking too much. Now the whole class gets punished or can't do whatever that thing is that they wanted to do. So now the students are upset with your class, with your student. Now your student, your child is an outcast, right? Nobody wants to be around that child. Everybody's mad at that child. What else happens when kids are impulsive? They are hitting people. They are sticking their legs out and what we call cagging people. All right. Making people trip. They are pouring stuff on people. And when you ask them, I thought you liked that person, they say, oh yeah, I wasn't mad. That's my best friend. But you just slapped your best friend impulsively. So what's going to happen? Eventually, they're going to say, this child is bad. This child is a bully. You know what they're going to do? They're going to give you some extended vacation days with your child, right? So now you either can't go to work or you got to work from home with your child, all because it's ADHD, it's summertime, and it's a field trip, right? Now, for those kids who are going to camps where there is an academic piece, you know if your child has been struggling all year, can't stay focused, losing things, easily distracted. But you're going to send them over there to this little church camp where they got 3 little old ladies who are retired school teachers, and they love what they do. But they're over there, and this child is disturbing the peace. Up out of their seat, loud, getting distracted, never can complete the art project. You know, summer camp is all about art projects. But your child, being impulsive, now has paint everywhere on other students' outfits and on their drawings because they're clumsy. For some reason, these kids are clumsy, probably because they are moving too fast and not paying attention to detail. All right. So these are just some of the things that can happen during summer camp and on field trips. So the first thing I want you to consider, because there always comes a, well, what can we do? The first thing that you should consider is that something may be going on. If you have been getting calls all year from your child's teacher, that lady doesn't, it's not that she doesn't like you. That lady or that gentleman has many more things they could be doing than calling and taunting you at your job. That is a general saying, right? A general thought. But more than likely, they have much more to do than to harass you about what your child is or is not doing in class. So we've got to believe that they are telling us the truth and that indeed Johnny is doing a lot in class. Now, so we must acknowledge that something is going on. The other thing we've got to recognize is that for safety's sake, these summer camps and these field trips pose a safety risk for the runner, for the kid who's talking too much, for the kid who does not pay attention to details, that they may get left, for the kid who you take them to Point Mallard and they forget that they don't know how to swim, or for the kid who I took some children once to the beach and the child took the life jacket off as we approached the water, right? So in the swimming pool, the child had the life jacket on. As we went close to the beach, they took it off. Well, you know how rip currents work, rip tide, rip current. They were almost in the middle of one. I said to this child, where's your jacket, your life jacket? I forgot, right? So that is a safety risk. Runners, safety risk. Forgetfulness, safety risk. Not paying attention to details, safety risk, okay? All of these things pose safety risk hazards. If your child is older, summertime is an amazing time to get involved into some drugs, sex, and rock and roll. They're at home alone. They're unsupervised. They're with some other older cousins or older siblings. And guess what? They've got free time and it is unsupervised. This is when babies are created. This is where marijuana is introduced. This is where all kinds of fun things that you never would have imagined that your little dream baby would be doing. But they are doing them because it's summertime and they have ADHD. And so the filter, you got to understand that the frontal lobe is the last to develop. Doesn't start to really fully develop until the early to mid 20s. And for some people, I wonder if there's ever develops. But regardless, in your adolescent years, it definitely is not where it needs to be. So the thoughts and the notion to stop, go, bad idea, don't do it, that won't work. Those kids, any kid, does not have that. That's why we're able to have so much fun in our teenage years, because the frontal lobe, which tells us to inhibit the funness, it doesn't work. So if you take that normal finding and then you throw on top of it ADHD, which disinhibits all inhibitions, I think I said that right. That means that nothing is inhibited. So all things go. Driving fast, getting speeding tickets, thinking you can make it through a yellow light. So when parents say, should I give my child their medicine in summer? Well, they have ADHD every day they wake up. And the summertime is a fantastic time for things like this to happen. So we've definitely got to take heed when the teachers are calling, the principal is calling. We've got to figure out why in the world is my child needing to be picked up or needing to have me called every single day, 3 or 4 times a week. That's the first thing. We got to acknowledge it. The second thing is that we need to figure out, why is the child doing it? Why is the child needing to be picked up? Why are you getting all these phone calls? Can the child focus? Not focus? Does the child not understand the work? Then we've got to look at the safety aspect. All right. If my child continues to do this, will he or she be able to maintain safety? Running in the street in the summertime to chase a ball that went out, but forgetting to look both ways. Okay. All of these are things we need to worry about. The safety, and that the safety becomes more and more scary as a child ages. Then we've got to look at the social piece. Will people not want to be around my kid after a little bit because my kid is so hyperactive, intrusive, which means to just get up in other people's stuff, get in their space. All right. And then, of course, academic. And there are many more. Academic, though, is one. Obviously, if kids are not focusing when things are being taught, they cannot give back to the teacher what it is that she or he wants. All right. So you got to be able to focus to give back what is being taught. Even in summer camp, I can remember one of my fondest memories at Illiton School at Camp Birmingham. We did a dance off 357, the group 357, with these black patent leather lace-up shoes with ribbon in them. Oh, we were super cute. But guess what? If you have ADHD, you may not be able to remember the routine. And so if you can't remember the routine for the dance, if you can't remember the routine or the play for football or whatever your sport is, nobody's going to pick you for their team, right? So we must acknowledge that something is going on. We must go ahead seeing about how to get it treated. And then for some of these field trips, to be honest, some of y'all need to go on these field trips because you know if your child is wild and is all over the place. And you can't expect that teacher to keep up with your child and everyone else, keep everyone safe. If that teacher has to run away to go and retrieve your child when they take off running, who's watching the other ones? I'm not sure if there is a minimum requirement for chaperones. And so, but I would imagine that each school is going to be different. But if you know that that is something that your child has a problem with, not paying attention, not focusing, not following instructions, running off. I'm not saying that your child should miss, but I'm saying that you should strongly consider the safety of your child and the comfort and learning experience of the others. Nobody wants to hear that though. But that is what we need to do. That's the responsible thing to do. If you're not going to address whatever issues your child is having, make sure that you help them as best that you can to navigate whatever the situation is. All right. So this lesson wasn't as exciting, but it was real life. Because like I said, my son's class is going on a field trip today. And so I thought, oh my goodness, if this teacher has 15, 12, 11 students who cannot keep up, this could be problematic. This is a real safety issue. So make sure that you're taking care of your kid when it comes to that. Now, if you're like, ooh, we liked her, we want more information. Of course you can get more information. I've got my book. People said they didn't know I had a book. So there we go. Shine, Understanding ADHD, so your child can be a star. All right. Very, very, very thorough, going over all the details of ADHD. So you can know what it is, because half of the problem is that we don't really understand what ADHD is. And we spend a lot of time just educating you here on Focus on It Friday. And also, look, now summer is coming quickly. Some districts better than others, like Birmingham is out June 9th. I imagine most other school systems are going to be out in May. Please use this time to try to get your children whatever the care is that they need. If they have ADHD, if they have anxiety, if they have depression. I'm always looking to up my skill, and I want your kids to do well. But for the children with ADHD, it is just extremely difficult for them to do well if they don't have what they need. So make sure that you are taking care of them, and that you are doing whatever needs to be done. Miss Stephanie Perry is here. Miss Cheryl Dumas is here. Nia Nicole is tagging some folks. Thank you all so much for joining. Miss Stephanie Perry says, great book, full of information, and I appreciate that so much. I surely did give it my all in writing it, much like I do in coming over here and speaking with you all. So maybe you don't have anyone with ADHD in your family, or maybe you're a great grandmother and your kids are handling whatever needs to be handled. But there may be one young lady at your church or at the park that you always see, or on the bus route, and you always see someone and you're like, I think that I can't make that diagnosis, but I know that she's always trying to get that baby under control on the bus, in the park. Maybe gift them a copy and tell them, if this doesn't apply to you, pass it on to someone else. But we must make sure that we're doing what is necessary for our babies. Summer is a wonderful time to start exploring so that they are ready when school starts. Remember that the odd number years are very difficult. So if you have a rising 3rd, 5th, 7th, and especially 11th grader, those years, you want them to be prepared when the school year starts. Now, it does not mean that the other years are not difficult, but we know for a fact that new standards are introduced in the odd number years. Testing occurs in the odd number years. And so those are really, really, really big years. All right. Well, if there is nothing else, we're going to end a little bit early today. I want y'all to be safe. I want you all to enjoy the weekend. Miss Betty Jeffers says, I have 2 with ADHD. One is 12 and one is 7. And absolutely, we know from the book, Understanding ADHD So Your Child Can Be a Star, that 51% of dads, if you look at a kid with ADHD, 51% of dads, 41% of moms likely have it. There's also a much higher incidence that between siblings, more than one of them is going to have it as well. So it's not shocking, Miss Jeffers, that you have 2 children who have ADHD. All right. So it's not more common in one over the other. We diagnose it more in boys because boys seem to have more obvious or overt symptoms at a much earlier age. And so we are able to pick up those symptoms. They're much more disruptive, which means that you're going to be getting called more. Those kids are going to be getting put out more. They're going to be brought to medical attention earlier so that they can be treated. All right. Any other questions anybody has? Any other questions? Let me know if it's your first time watching. Anybody's first time watching? Let's see. Michelle Combs Mitchell says, I have 4 kiddos. 2 have been diagnosed and the other 2 needs evaluation, because she says, oh my goodness, I think that the other 2 might have it too. And that is quite common. Yes. You can get my book, Shine, right here, Miss, I think it's Eureka. Shine. I can't type. Shine book is at There we go. Is at www.shineadhdbook.shop. Shineadhdbook.shop. $20 is the cost of the book, and we will get it shipped over to you. And it's also on Amazon or anywhere you order books. So Walmart, any of those places. It's all of those places. But only if you order from shineadhdbook.shop do you get it autographed by me. You get it autographed by me. Thank you all so much, Miss Michelle and Miss Betty, for sharing about your children and your experience. So you all probably know firsthand. And don't forget, guys, that ADHD looks different. ADHD really is a spectrum, like so many other things are in psychiatry and in medicine in general. So some kids may be extremely hyperactive, but just because yours stays in their seat all the time doesn't mean that they don't have it. Some kids get great grades, but or bad grades. Some kids are talkative. Some kids are quiet. So it looks like if you need to handle it, get some treatment, get in, make sure that you're doing that. All right. Other questions? If there are no others, then I am going to let you all go. I enjoyed talking with you all today. Hopefully you learned something about how ADHD can just present in every aspect of life. So when people say to me, can I stop my kids' medication for the summer or for the weekends? That is not an easy answer, and it's certainly not a one answer fits all. It is very much dependent upon your child. It's very much dependent upon you, because the truth of the matter is that sometimes we treat our kids for our own sanity. Certainly kids can get hit or punched real quick. We don't mean to, but if they come by with a cape and their Cape knocks over the one thing of rice that we had, and we spent our last couple of dollars to get it, and they knock it down, they might get hit. I'm certainly not condoning that. I'm not even saying that that's an appropriate thing to do. I'm just telling you what can happen when you have ADHD rampant in the house. So make sure that you're taking care of each other, and make sure that you're especially taking care of your kids. Don't forget the kids who do not have special disorders, special learning disabilities, special needs, okay? Because they need special attention. But don't forget the other kids is what I meant to say. The kids who are straight A students, who never give you any problems, who the school never has to call for. Do not forget those kids. They need attention, and they will start to do whatever it takes to get it if they are not. So make sure you do that. All right. I see you all are sharing and tagging, and you know I love for you all to do that. Please, 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 guys, as y'all are enrolling these kids in these summer camps and these summer programs, and they are going to be going on field trips, please look at that field trip schedule. If you know that your child is all over the place, can't stay focused, is subject to take off running, is loud and disruptive, and you want to send that child to a library or to a place where kids have to be quiet, be considerate of the other folks, but most importantly, protect your child's safety, and do what is best for your child so that they can make the best opportunity of life, and so that they can shine. That's the whole point of it all. We really want to see kids do their best and shine in the classroom and in life. I love y'all. Have a good weekend. Take care of yourselves. Wear your seatbelts. Wear your mask if you're going to be indoors and you feel like you need it. And just take care. All right. I love y'all. I'm going to get out of here. We will see each other next week. If you are my patient, please do not send me a message about your child's medication regimen. I say that every week. Do not do it. I cannot answer those questions over there. So please do not send me those questions. All right. We have nurses. And by the way, happy Nurses Week. I have amazing nurses that work with me. Miss Stacy, Miss Dia, Miss Teresa, Miss Charity. Who else works with me? I've got a whole slew at Preston Hospital. And of course, my mommy, I don't see my mommy on here, but my mommy is a retired nurse. So I really appreciate nurses. I'm going to tell y'all, if it weren't for nurses, I couldn't get done what I get done. We're not in competition. They can't do what I can't do, what I can do, and vice versa, right? So we are in no competition. There is nothing but love between us. And I thank God for them every day. I end every one of our shifts with thank you for working with me, because y'all know people don't have to work with you. And they certainly don't have to be nice and as excited about it as you are. And my staff is absolutely amazing. Miss Jernigan says that she loves them, and you know we love you too. I hadn't seen them in a while because of the pandemic, but I'm grateful to have them around. So happy Nurses Week to each of you, and to you all out there, whatever you're celebrating this week, make sure you're doing so safely and responsibly. I see Miss Keena is on the phone. That's my sissy. Miss Sadie says, have a great weekend, Dr. Brandy. And I say right back to you all. I'll see y'all next week. Be safe. Take care of each other and smile at somebody today. You just don't know. That may be the only smile that they'll get, and it may make their day one that it was not going in the direction of. Take care of each other. See y'all next week. Bye.